Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Lightfall is mere weeks away, and along with all of that shiny new content, we are getting some major changes to some of the core structures of the game, including massive changes to fighting champions, streamlining mods, loadouts, economy changes, legacy focusing, and much more. In this video we're going to go over all of those systematic and sandbox changes coming February 28th with the launch of Season 20 in Lightfall. Let's get into it. Alright, let's kick things off with the first major change, which is the addition of loadouts. You'll be able to save all of your currently equipped weapons, armor, mods, subclass, aspects, and fragments in one of 10 available loadout slots, allowing you the ability to very quickly swap between set loadouts. Access to these 10 slots are available through the progression of the new Guardian rank system. This is another new system coming in Lightfall that is designed to help new players learn how to play the game, but veteran players will have access to all 10 slots immediately at launch. And you're going to be able to work on these new loadouts in the amazing new mod customization screen, which is number 2. The new screen looks just like the appearance customization screen, and now it works for your weapons and armor slots. And you even have access to the mods within each slot of gear. This means you can work on your entire build on just one screen. It's perfect for putting together the different builds for things like raid bosses, for Crucible, Grandmaster Nightfalls, and you're even going to be able to label them, making jumping between activities and encounters that much faster. Number 3 is the huge revamp to armor mods. Bungie recently unlocked all of the armor mods for all players, allowing everyone to play around with the armor mods before they undergo this giant revamp. The first big change is the removal of the energy type requirement. That means you will no longer need to change the element of your armor to take advantage of every mod in your collection. This is huge. Additionally, armor mods that previously provided benefits to weapons based on their archetype, for instance hand cannon loader, will now instead provide benefits to weapons based on their damage type, so think kinetic loader or solar loader, allowing you to build more easily into a single element. This is an interesting shift, kind of huge implications for buildcrafting. You'll see more of this later on, but things like building into a single element and not having to worry about a variety of damage types. For instance, starting next season, we will no longer have match game as a modifier in higher difficulty activities, and they're also adding more ways to combat shields that they're going to be telling us about closer to launch. This sounds kind of exciting. Maybe it's something like light is strong against dark and dark is strong against light. That would be kind of cool. Also changing with armor mods is a major change to the artifact. Artifact mods will now be unlockable perks instead of mods you have to slot, essentially passive skills that are just always on. That means that you will no longer have to slot these champion mods, ruining your builds. And finally, the combat mod slot is being removed and replaced with an additional normal mod slot, since with the launch of Lightfall and Season 20, all Charged with Light, Well, and Warmind mods are being revamped into a streamlined new armor mod system called Armor Charge. That leads us to number 4. This is essentially Combat Style 2.0. Armor Charge will require slotted mods to define the various effects, yet no longer require separate mods for charging like a Wellmaker. You simply slot one of the new mods into your armor and it activates that slot. It works like this. Picking up 1 orb of power grants 1 stack of armor charge. This is called Taking Charge. You can hold between 0 and 3 stacks of charge with certain mods like the new Charged Up Chest mod, increasing it to a maximum of 6. Every 10 seconds, you will lose 1 stack of armor charge. So it doesn't stick around forever like Charged with Light. Some mods will require 1, 2, or 3 stacks of armor charge to activate the certain perk, giving you that benefit instantly once you hit that stack. Also, another huge benefit is that the finisher mods now consume stacks of armor charge instead of dipping into your super energy. Huge gains. So as you can see, just massive changes to armor mods. I can't wait to check it all out. Number 5 is the evolution of elemental wells. Inspired from ionic traces with the arc subclasses and stasis shards with stasis, the launch of Lightfall will bring additional elemental spawning objects to the elements of Solar, Void, and Strand. Solar is receiving something called Fire Sprites, and Void is getting Void Breaches. These will be folded into the new subclasses using new fragments coming next season. Strand will also have an object, but that is all hush-hush for now. Moving on to number 6 is a huge win for Buildcrafting, which is adding anti-champion options to your subclasses through the various buffs and debuffs of the different elements. For anti-barrier, you'll have volatile rounds, any attacks while radiant, and also a method of strand that is yet to be revealed. That means any of these options will stun the anti-barrier champions. For overload champions, you can use Jolt, which is massive since it's so easy to accomplish, and so many weapons can roll with Volt Shot. You'll also have Void Suppress and Stasis Slow. These will all stun overload champions. For Unstoppable, you'll have Arc Blind, Stasis Encase and Shatter, and Solar Ignitions. Again, there's going to be another way for Strand to also deal with this as well. So these are pretty huge additions. I had written an entire 10-minute video written and recorded complaining and giving potential solutions to the champion mod buildcrafting problem. So with all of these changes, that video is pretty much useless. I'm super excited for this and the future of champions. And of course, we're going to spend lots of time exploring the potentials of this with higher end activities like Nightfalls, so stick around to the channel for that as well. Finally, moving on to number 7, we have a big change to the game's economy, and that is with Engram Focusing. Lots of changes here. Firstly, umbrals are being removed in favor of new seasonal engrams, likely similar to the engrams you get from ranking up with those seasonal vendors, so hopefully that means also no more focusing energy required. I'm kind of annoyed with focusing energy, so I'm very glad to see this changed up a little bit. Next with focusing is Vanguard and Nightfall weapon focusing at Zavala. Following the changes made to Saint, Shax, and Drifter in previous seasons, you'll be able to reroll weapons from the Vanguard loot pool, but perhaps even more exciting is the ability to roll weapons from the Nightfall loot pool with Nightfall focusing. And yes, that actually does include Adept weapons. Adept weapons will require a new currency called Adept Nightfall Ciphers, with 10 of them needed for focusing a single weapon. You get 2 ciphers for Platinum, 1 for Gold, and 0 for Silver. This seems a little steep, so we'll have to see if this remains the same. My feeling is that even before the end of the season, we're going to see this cost go down. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes down as much as half. I think 10 ciphers, getting 2 per Platinum for a GM run seems a little steep for a single shot at a weapon roll that you've been looking for. But of course, we're going to have to see how this plays out. The final update to focusing is Legacy Focusing. That means that all ritual activities will have the opportunity to craft weapons from the previous years associated to that activity. This includes gear from the Vanguard, Gambit, Crucible, Iron Banner, and Trials of Osiris. This system will also let you save up Vanguard and Trials engrams to acquire Adept weapons that you haven't acquired yet, and yes, that means you no longer need to go flawless to acquire Adept Trials weapons, so that's pretty cool. If you want to know the full focusing costs and all the lists of weapons, I'll leave a link down below. Anyways, those are the 7 biggest changes coming to Lightfall that we know of so far. We are just under 1 month away of the release, and Bungie still has a lot of information to share. I think we're going to learn a lot more about Strand. I'm personally hoping for a deeper dive, maybe learning some of the official verbs, the buffs and debuffs. Which change are you most excited for coming in Lightfall? Let's discuss down below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe for much more Lightfall coverage coming very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.